Shalom, Kohalo Yahweh Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem HaKakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right. This lesson is going to land back off of the brother Samak down in Florida. Salaki, let me see if I can get his. This is it right here.
Matthew chapter 2.
Not to go to his video, but this kind of goes directly to this guy who's probably still alive, but GMS Samak Ephraim 777 Ba reports claim Putin and Bunker preparing to test a tactical nuke. Wars and rumors of wars. Okay, so watch that video, it's awesome. But he pointed out, he goes to the sun, right? The Sun is a rag out of the UK. Let me see if I can find it. Broken Arrow should be here. Okay, so we are going to, let's see, what are we getting? Let's get Zechariah, and we'll move forward. Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14:12. Let's get the KJV here. All right, because the nukes are coming. Zechariah 14:12, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. We'll go to 20 real quick. The plague, right? It's 18, yeah. Revelation 18:4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. These plagues are those nuclear missiles that are going to begin. They're coming upon on the scene. The talk now is of the nukes. All right, nukes here, nukes there, tactical nukes, pocket nukes, suitcase nukes, ICBMs. Okay, that's the talk of the town. And as the brother correctly brought out, that we're not going to see the end until the Charagma. So there's your time frame. You have to factor in the Charagma, which is the MOTB, right? To understand when these last plagues, right, the ICBM end of it is coming. So anyway, let's go back here real quick. And let's look at 5 chilling ways. What's the headline read? Okay. Going nuclear, 5 chilling ways Putin could detonate nuke bomb from Poseidon. All right. Now, I'm just using this article because I saw it on the brother's page. Apocalypse drone to test to blast in Black Sea. This is yesterday. Okay. Vlad Putin could go nuclear by launching a low-yield device in Ukraine, dropping a bomb over the Black Sea and test firing a Poseidon drone off the U.S. coast, experts warn. Now, usually when they do these tests or these drills, if you will, they turn that into a live fire and the real thing. Okay, so And you can read by the language they're using. This is against Russia. The tyrant, who turns 70 on Friday, is preparing to make key decisions from a bunker. So this is an attack piece. Okay. After warning his closest family to be ready to evacuate Moscow in a hurry, reports claim. Now I'm gonna jump down here. To what? This, the Poseidon torpedoes reportedly carry a 2-megaton warhead designed to devastate coastal cities with 300-foot radioactive tsunami. All right. It says experts have previously warned Putin is more probable to launch a nuke than accept defeat in Ukraine. So this is a whole bunch of rhetoric and propaganda, if you will, warning shot. The first possibility is you would use a nuclear weapon in a demonstration shot, so you would fire something into the Black Sea, for example. All right, so and then they go into battlefield nuke, which is a tactical nuke. In the second scenario, said Putin could unleash a very low yield weapon on a military target. This is where it's going first. Okay, so it's going to be tactical nukes, which is a battlefield nuke. Then it's going to escalate into the ICBMs. All right. So I'm basically just using this to show how recent or how current this talk. Okay, so this happened today. This is this guy, Chris Green, might still be live right now. Let me see.
I always tell my children.
Yeah, it looks like it's still live. Okay, so let's just go back to the front of it. This is still going on now. Watching now started 46 minutes ago. So you can go back, AMTV, you can go back and watch this whole thing. But what he says in the beginning goes to this is the most current news of what's going on in the soon-to-be nuclear war. Now listen close to what he says.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got big breaking news today. Putin deploys Belgorod nuclear tsunami sub system, which carries the Poseidon nuclear-tipped torpedo.
Okay, so backing up the story from yesterday. Could he be reading from the story from yesterday? Could be, but I think this is a little more current, so let's listen.
It has gone missing. This is the real Red October. You probably remember the movie. In the Arctic with up to 100 megaton warhead that could possibly generate a 1,700-foot tsunami towards the U.S. coastline.
Okay, now that word megaton was in that song that the Russian choir was singing. Okay? A true la la, we can get it all done for 5 rubles or whatever, all right? So I might even go get that real quick.
This is a major development, and the reason I report this is we're not really getting a lot of this in the news, is of course we just had a very dangerous missile launched over Tokyo, Japan, just yesterday, which was pretty much covered up by the mainstream media. You can search it now. You'll find it on the BBC, CNN, Fox News, Reuters, AP News, as I reported yesterday. But this is a significant escalation.
Missiles are flying. Are they hitting targets yet? Nope. It's a flexing, but missiles are flying in the face of a coming war. All right, the war is already going on. It's just escalating. Now they're, they're taking it to the next level.
The proxy World War III event that is Ukraine, that will definitely lead to an all-out conflict. And we're also getting reports that the West and Zelensky himself says that they will not negotiate with Vladimir Putin unless he is deposed, unless they get rid of him. And so this very much is an existential threat on Russia that I believe Putin will take very, very seriously. So let's get into this story and more. And by the way, we've got a huge pump on Wall Street today on the news that the Federal Reserve will be backtracking the quantitative tightening.
What they did, okay, and you got to read the stock market too. It was so bad last week. What did they do yesterday? They started, bringing all of that money back that they lost just overnight. And they're still doing it today. What does that mean? That means that they're not ready to move forward yet. When it bottoms out and it falls and they don't pump it back up like he's talking about right now, that means they're ready. They're ready to make their move. So they're not quite ready yet. All right.
And eventually cutting rates. And as I warned, furthering the infinite bailouts and money printing, which only guarantees a hyperinflationary collapse, much like we're seeing all over the world. In fact, there was a stunning report earlier today that in Lebanon, let's pray for the people of Lebanon, which are currently experiencing a currency war and a bank run. Capital controls having been instituted and they cannot get their money. So I'm reading numerous reports of people in Lebanon right now, and I think this will spread eventually all over the world, where they have accounts, say $100,000 at the bank, and they're only allowed to withdraw $1,000.
You got to understand that all these things are happening simultaneously, all right? The wars, the missiles, the money, right? They got a great reset that's happening right under your nose. The distraction is the war. The distraction is everything other than, all right, where's everything? What is the great reset for? Is to get that C-HIP in your hand, which goes directly into the money, buying and selling, all right? But the distraction is the war, all right? They are doing their great reset or bringing in the NWO, all right? Which the MOTB is essential to.
And I'll get to some of those details in a minute. Putin deploys Belgorod nuclear sub. It's gone missing, which carries the Poseidon nuclear torpedo with up to 100 megaton warhead, generating a 1,700-foot tsunami. This has significant range.
Okay, and I know I'm talking. I'm gonna abandon this because we get it, all right. But this has been in the works for a while. What about that song that the choir sang? It's about a nuclear sub. Okay.
And it is deployed out of the Arctic and is now officially gone missing, according to U.S. and Western intelligence. Please like and share this and get it out, of course, 1000x, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this carries the Poseidon underwater drone, capable of unleashing radioactive tsunamis which lay waste to enemy coastlines. Now, it has been suspected that even if Putin does not deploy this on a U.S. coastline, that he could possibly test this in hotly contested international waters as a show of strength. You probably remember that Donald Trump dropped a very large bomb in the Middle East when he first became president of the United States. And in fact, we were very close to nuclear war when that happened, in my opinion. I remember bugging out up into the mountains of Arizona during that time, just on the instinct that things were about to go awry. And that was a sign, as Trump was very decisive in his power when he became president of the United States. Now,
all right, so, and if he bugged out because he was scared, he doesn't know how to tell time. All right? You tell time by watching the prophecies come to pass. What's the main prophecy? One of the last ones that you're able to tell time right before the missiles hit? The M-O-T to the B. Mark of the Beach. Okay? So that's what you got to keep your eye on when they're lining up to get that C hit, right? Like they lined up for those shots, they're going to line you up and say your universal basic income is on this grain of rice. All right, that's how you tell time in this thing. So a little more.
Keep in mind, Sleepy Joe, which is pretty much like the grandpa of The Simpsons. You know, he's a bumbling, would have to respond within 10 minutes of any kind of nuclear event launched against the United States to defend the homeland. That's how much time we have, based on the simulations that you can look up yourself, to respond to any type of these events. Now, it's important to note I'm not the one saying this, because I get accused of this a lot. Like, Christopher, why are you telling us about these horrible events? I'm not the one telling you about these horrible events. It's international bodies, leaders, and governments warning you that it's worse than the Cold War, warning you of nukes. It's Zelensky, a former actor, who's telling you he will not negotiate with Putin unless he's disposed of. Okay, unless they install a new leader, which is a direct threat, an existential threat to Russia. Now, Elon Musk actually weighed in on this. He says that Russia should hold on to the Crimean Peninsula and have water rights. And then he suggested that the rest of Ukraine should be put up to a vote, of which I think he said the UN would oversee. And so there would be a revote, which I don't think Russia's going to like that. But even Elon Musk is warning, and I retweeted this, of possible nuclear war.
All right, so that's the talk. What is trending right now? Nuclear war. Russian acquire nuclear. See if we can find the one. Look at this. Let's just read this. St. Petersburg choir sings about bombing America. This is 3 years ago on a nuclear submarine with 100 megaton bombs. Right here, News Nation. Russian submarine with nuclear torpedo leaves base. Okay. Let's watch this real quick. Commercial.
Instead of your father, you wear the cufflinks we got you home.
And this right here is going to stir up the race war, the civil war in America. Wow.
Concerns out of Russia this morning as well. A nuclear-capable Russian.
Wow.
There are some new concerns out of Russia this morning as well. A nuclear-capable Russian submarine said to carry a one-of-its-kind nuclear device has left its base near the Arctic Circle. And Nick Smith is here with us now to explain what's at stake. Nick.
Adrian, state officials continue to follow this story. An Italian newspaper says it got its hands on a NATO warning about the Belgorod. That's the submarine. Now, according to that note, NATO officials are worried Russia could be testing out a torpedo capable of carrying nuclear weapons. Russian officials say the sub has the ability to create a 1,600-foot nuclear tsunami that could drown coastal cities. Right now, there is no indication Russia is preparing for an explosive nuclear test, but according to that leaked NATO memo and analysis, Russia is most likely testing a torpedo that uses nuclear power. U.S. officials continue to warn Vladimir Putin and Russia of catastrophic consequences if it resorts to nuclear warfare. Last night, on the debut of Cuomo, former National Security Advisor John Bolton offered another way of deterrence.
What could you do other than an exchange of nuclear weapons, which nobody would want?
Well, I think we should say publicly that if Putin did authorize the use of a nuclear weapon, he would be signing his own suicide note. And I think that needs to be clear publicly so that everybody in the Russian military, intelligence, domestic security conglomerate knows how much is at risk here.
Russia's war in Ukraine and recent escalations have Americans stressed. This morning, our exclusive Decision Desk News Nation polling shows 39% of Americans think Russia is our biggest threat, followed by China and Iran. This morning, the Kremlin says it does not take part in Western nuclear rhetoric in response to a British report about an alleged nuclear weapons test on Ukraine's border. It's also important to stress that U.S. officials are monitoring the situation and say they have not seen Russia prepare any of its forces for a nuclear strike.
Let's read this report. Russian sub carrying nuclear torpedo leaves base.
Adrian?
All right, Nick, thank you very much.
Okay, good enough. Now let's go back. That was a really good little snippet there, which is today, October the 4th. All right, now, let's see. Okay, because in this, right, St. Petersburg Choir sings about bombing America, and then they go into the Israelites, okay, and Negroes sleeping too, okay. Norfolk sleeping sweetly. What else can it do? Toys are sound asleep. And Negroes sleeping too. Why did they mention the Israelites? Okay, and I'm quite sure that it don't say the word Negroes. I'm quite sure it translates into niggers, all right, which we can go into that too. So let's watch this. The little nuclear sub, right, with 100 megaton bombs. All right, and the song was written in the 80s, but then they started performing it again 3 years ago. Look at this, 3 years ago. Let's burn America. How? Nuclear fire. All right. Let's watch this. Commercial first. Yep. On a little nuclear sub with a little nuclear launching pad with some warheads of 100 megaton. See that already? I might add. Crossing the Atlantic, obeying what the officer said. Go forth and aim for Washington. An honest little aircraft, my friend. My little Vlad is on a quick approach with gifts that he will add. Woo. Okay, so they're not only from the subs, they're going to hit you from the top too. On a nuclear sub with a little nuclear launching pad, the crew will sing a song that no one will call sad. Wow. now here you go. Brave new world of our foe, our enemy. Brave New World, what is that talking about? There's a book called Brave New World by, what's this guy? Forget his name, but it was a book about the NWO. What's his name? I'll think of it in a second. Aldous Huxley. Alden. Right here. Norfolk sleeping sweetly. What else can it do? Toys are sound asleep, and Negroes. I bet you, if you listen closely, you'll hear him say nigger. Okay, let's listen to this little passage. America, and they're talking about this place too. Why did they mention Negroes? Because they know that we were the slaves here. They know who we are. They know that we're the tribes. America's excuse, or America, excuse us now for disturbing you. Discovering your continent would be better to undo. Meaning, what is the doctrine of discovery? Okay. When you understand the doctrine, did Columbus discover America? Yes. Under the discovery doctrine, meaning if I go to a land and they can't, if they don't claim Christianity or whatever they came over here with, then we discovered it. It's a doctrine, not actual, well, we found it. It's the doctrine of discovery. When you go into that doctrine, you understand that they discovered it, meaning they can take it as their own. And what they're saying is discovering your continent would be better to undo. So you fucked up by discovering or taking this land away from who was already here, which is Israel. Cut in pieces, set aglow, brave new world of our. What is set aglow? Set that thing on fire. My grandma told your grandma. All right. So, how does that add up? The little nuclear sub. Wonder what they're saying about it now. No instant replies. Nope. Okay. Good enough. So anyway, yeah. Let's get one on the way out. Let's get Isaiah. Let's get. Why do we see all of this? 13:17. Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. When we break this down, I, as the Most High Yahweh, will stir up, right? Set against. Set the Medes, the Russians, against them. Them is Babylon, meaning America. We see that right now. Okay? We see that. All right, so anyway, I just wanted to go into that. This thing is heating up. It can't be stopped. because the Most High is doing it. The Most High is hardening Pharaoh's heart. The Most High is mind controlling all the kings of the earth right now. So with that, we hope that the elect were edified with that organization.